Hi guys, Steph here. How you doing? This morning, Sunday, gorgeous day outside, so as most Sundays I went out car booting, seeing if I could find anything. Couldn't find anything. Then I went over to a local antiques fair. There was a gentleman there who had a number of pens on his table, so I asked him how much. It was too much. The figure that he had was ridiculous. We came to an agreement and I bought them. So there was these here, Parker 51 and a nice little Burnham, and also what he had was these, a large packet of pens. But not only them, he also had another packet of pens. Now what I actually did is something which in my opinion I sort of kicked myself and was a little bit silly and ridiculous. Now I was being a little bit of a smart ass that I was actually looking at the pens through the polythene bags like this and recognising numerous pens and saying, oh, that looks of interest, that looks of interest. Then I got the other bag and looked at them and thought, oh, that one looks of interest. Oh, look, there's a wood grain pen, it looks of interest. Now what I actually recommend is when you people are out there searching for fountain pens, is that you actually take the pens out of the bags or in the boxes, whatever. Take your loupe with you and look at each individual pen. Well, yeah, just look at every individual pen. The reason being is that the price that we agreed, well, at the time I thought, yeah, that sounds quite fair. But when I got home and checked the pens, unfortunately, not all of them were what I thought, well, what I thought they were. So when you actually go to a car boot, to an antiques fair, be it wherever, a garage sale, take your loupe with you. Get each pen, look it over, check the nib, open it up if you can. Look at it, check the model, see if there's any problems. The reason being is that I think, maybe not, I think I just paid a little bit too much for these particular pens. Now, what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to sort them out, I'm going to restore some of them, and then one or two that I've not actually done reviews on, I'll do reviews on them. If I've done a review on that model, I will not. Most of these are going to be sold one way or the other, be it for spares or repairs, or be it a restored fountain pen. Now the reason I was a little bit disappointed when I got back, I looked through them. Now don't get me wrong, there's one or two sort of interesting items. There's this one here, and I think somewhere, if we can find it, says here, no, it's gone missing. There's actually, oh there it is, sorry. There's actually two little Swan vintage pen clips, so they're of interest. There's a nice little, well, not little one, a Waterman 52 with, one thing I noticed here, it's got a solid gold band. Now lovely pen, but if I would have actually took it and got my loupe and looked at it carefully, one of the tins or one of the tips on the nib is broken off, so I'll see if I've got a spare nib for it. But if I've got a spare nib, it's going to be restored and somebody will have a lovely pen. Some of the pens, when I was looking through the cellophane, I looked at it, I thought, oh, that's a lovely colour, but as you can see on this one, the clip's missing. It's got a gold nib, and yeah, it's a lovely colour, but what do you do with it? So, you know, a pen like this, it's going to be sold as spares or repairs. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of nice ones here. We've got a nice Conway Stewart 475. We'll restore that and that'll come up beautiful. We've got a couple of, well, there we go, a Parker. This is a junior, a nice little pen, somebody will enjoy that. A nice Conway Stewart again. We've got an 85L, we'll restore that and it'll come up beautiful. You know, we've got a couple of nice little sets as well. There's a, actually I've got to sort of decide which one, I think that's it there. This is a W.H. Smith's sort of tree bark effect. These are nice pens, so again I'll restore them, and again we may do a review on these pens. We've got I think that's a W.H. Smith's pen, again in this lovely tree bark effect. We've got a couple of Mentmores. There's another Waterman's. Some of the pens, again, when I saw it through the plastic bag, I thought, oh, look at that, a green hatch, and it looks quite broad. It looks like a 58. Absolutely. When I got home, checked it out, it's a Conway Stewart 58 with a lovely Joro nib. Unfortunately, there's no cap with it. So what do? Do you keep it, wait till you find a cap, and then restore it? I don't know. Things like this one might be just sold, because the Joro nibs are quite collectible and sought after. So, things like this one might be just sold for spares or repairs. As I said before, we've got a nice Parker 51 that'll be restored and sold. We've got a nice Burnham that'll be, restored and sold. A couple of interesting pens. We've got this one. It's a ballpoint. Yes, I know, sorry, but it's a Targa. And the beautiful thing about it, it's solid silver, hallmarked. So we've got things like that. There's also another lovely pencil there. Look, I don't know if you can see that, a lovely Yada lead pencil. But the problem being, ta-da, there's no top to it. So, what do you do with it? So that, again, solid silver, but somebody will have it for spares, so it'll be sold as spares or repairs. So, although I've got lots of pens here, and there's some quite interesting ones, there's Conway Stewart, there's Mentmores, I think there's a Crossley somewhere. So, and this one's an interesting one. This is a Senator shorthand, and if we undo it, you can see it's a piston filler. It's got a lovely nib on it. So yeah, that one will service, we'll clean it up, and somebody will have a lovely pen. So the thing about these pens, some of them will be restored. If I've not done a review on them, I'll do you a review. The majority of these pens, there's nothing in this haul that is of interest to me. Although, again, don't get me wrong, there's some lovely pens. The majority of these are going to be sold, whether they're sold restored or sold for spares or repairs. So, if you're interested, keep your eyes open. But a little lesson, when you're out there looking at pens like this, a job lot of pens, take your loot with you, and don't do what I do, just looking through the plastic bag. Get each pen, get your loop, check what model it is, check the condition. Just out of interest, what's this one? Oh, right, a Mentmore, a nice little Mentmore. So again, that that one's little Mentmore, that's worthy of restoration, which we'll do. But the point I'm getting out, don't do what I did and try and be a smart ass and think, right, so I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for him, but well, there you go, there's another nice one that'll come up lovely, nice Conway Stewart. But enough to say that I paid between £200 and £300 for the lot. Now, in my opinion, I think I may have paid just a little bit too much, but maybe not. Don't get me wrong, once I've restored them, I should get my money back. But what I was hoping out of this lot is that there'd be one or two pens that I could keep in my collection, and that's how I finance my collection. I find one or two pens in a job lot, the rest I sell off, and that finances my own collection. But as I said before, sorry for repeating, get your loop, check the pen, undo it, take the barrel off, check for any cracks. One of the pens somewhere here, I was looking at it and I thought, oh, that's a nice pen. This one here, I think it's a Chatsworth, and I thought, yeah, that'll come up nice once it's polished. But if you look carefully there, you can see it's got this great big crack that's running round the cap there. So a lot of them restored, maybe a review, sold. A lot of them will be sold as spare and repair. But my advice is check your pens. Once you've checked your pens, don't make assumptions. Don't just think, yeah, that's an XYZ model and it's worth so much. Get your loop out, check it, nib, check the nib. Some of these nibs on these pens, you know, I've got a Waterman 52, as I said, that wherever it is there, lovely pen, that'll come up lovely. The only problem is the tip's missing on the nib, so that's no good to anybody. So, but saying that, I think I've got a replacement nib. But you know, if you looked at that, you might think, yeah, great. And someone said, well, you know, give me XYZ for it. You might think, oh, it's a lovely, you know, Waterman 52. But you need to check your pens. Take your loop, check, you know, check them carefully, undo them, look at the nib. If you can undo the barrel, check it's inside. Look for any cracks, look for any wear. Check your pens, because sometimes you may get your fingers burnt. Don't get me wrong, I don't think I've got my fingers burnt, but you know, they weren't really what I thought they were. But saying that, as I say, once I've done a lot of work, you know, there's a lot of work to be done here, so I'm going to start working on some of them. But whether I've paid the right amount or not, I don't know, is debatable. But I hope you've enjoyed looking at this pen haul. But for now, I'm just going to say bye bye now.